Here's my review of Arcadian. Arcadian, I don't know. But I thought this movie was a lot of fun. It's a very short and sweet, only an hour and a half horror movie that, of course, starred Nicolas Cage, and he always just, I mean, I love Nicolas Cage, so I'm like, I definitely want to see this, and I love horror. So, and I feel like he hasn't really done a horror movie before, so I was really interested in checking this one out in particular. And I thought it was pretty good. But I think it balances very well the different types of like what's the word, building your anticipation, like because when you see the monsters but like very sparingly, and I think it's done very well. And it's very interesting between Paul and his twin sons Thomas and Joseph. You get this great dynamic between the three of them as you see how you learn about how, not necessarily how this whole apocalypse thing started, but you learn about how they got to where they are. It, I mean, in how particular Nicolas Cage's character is the way he is. And I thought that this, it's got a really good father son dynamic in this movie. And I thought it was just a lot of fun. And then there's also this other girl named Charlotte who I don't really remember. I'm really bad with name. I don't remember if it was Thomas or Joseph who had a crush on her. But I think that she was also very good, and just kind of seeing more of this world to know that like they're not really alone. There there is this other world, like this neighborhood kind of around them that we're getting to see. Although it's very limited, it's really just her and her parents. But I thought that for as short of a movie as this was, I think that she still got her time to shine. And as for the monsters themselves, I mean, they look so cool. They are like the way they're all four-legged, like down to the ground, and just kind of almost grotesque is just awesome. They're used sparingly. Like I said, this movie's only about an hour and a half, maybe hour 40 minutes. And maybe they're only on screen for maybe it'd be 10, 20 minutes, maybe. But I think that they were really, really cool. I mean, I just thought the designs were awesome, and there's just a lot to like, and all these brutal kills, brutal action scenes was just awesome. And there are some pretty terrifying kills, which I really appreciated. I feel like this is just a really solid, fun horror movie that I feel like will probably be slept on by a lot of people. I bet a lot of people won't check this out or have even heard of it. Have you even heard of it? But I'm pretty sure this movie is going to be on streaming on Shudder later on this year. I mean, probably in a couple months or even weeks, actually. So you might be able to check it out there, if not in theaters. Because I'm pretty sure this is a limited release. I don't even think it's going to be here. It might be there next week, but I don't even think it's going to be there like in 2 weeks from now, from what I've heard. So yeah, it's mainly focused on the dynamic between the three of them as well as this girl, but she's kind of like more of a side character. And I mean, a lot of this is him trying to be protective of his sons. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, he lost his wife at the beginning. Like, we don't see it, but it's just him as like this single dad at the beginning of this apocalypse. I don't even really recall them mentioning their mom or mentioning what happened to her. But you could see why he's so overprotective. But I mean, it makes sense. I mean, during the apocalypse. And massive spoilers at the end. I mean, Nicolas Cage does die in this movie. But then they kind of, his two sons, Paul and Thomas, or not Paul, Paul is Nicolas Cage, and Joseph and Thomas are survive as well as the girl, Charlotte. Keep forgetting their names. But it's just a really fun hour and a half horror movie that I think packs in very unique creature design, as well as this emotion, this kind of family dynamic. In all of just this short little runtime, they got some really creative creature designs, which I loved. And you just felt kind of, not necessarily, it's not like anything groundbreaking. I don't think that this was an amazing movie, but I thought that this was just a fun little horror movie. And I mean, it's more of like, you have to be a horror fan to like it, because, I mean, hey, I love horror, but, and maybe it's just me, and maybe it's just how I think, I feel like when I go into a horror movie, I have not necessarily low expectations, but because I love horror, but I have basically a low bar in terms of what I'm able to be pleased with. And it's like, it's kind of just like, are the monsters scary? Do I get scared? Is it thrilling? And it did that. So I don't think that this is an amazing movie, but I thought that it was pretty good.